I'm Peter.
And I'm Paul.
And this is the P&P Podcast.
So, Peter, or shall I call you Sabrina? How was your work week? You got something to talk about?
You know, we always have something to talk about. That's never anything new in our never-ending lives of drama, right? God, what can I say? I'm not one to really put my personal stuff out there, you know what I mean? But it's been a rough week, boy, finances, job not giving you enough hours, people aggravating you like people.
Well, let's see. For beginnings, I actually bought, I know we talked a little bit this morning, and I bought a kitchen sink, and put it, so I was waiting for you, and I'm going to quickly show you. Literally, put it together all by myself. So now I'm not going to do the plumbing part because I have to get a plumber to come in here because I'm not, I don't know how to do plumbing. But anyways, let's talk about my work week. So I had a situation at work. I guess, because I'm the new person there, I passed my 90 days. I'm not going to mention where I work, but those that know me know where I work, right? I have nice bosses. And I specifically have this one nice boss who happens to also be gay. I mean, I can say that because I'm not going to say names, but he happens to be gay too. Well, he gave me a call while he's texting me on my phone, and he's like, I got something serious to talk about. I said, oh, Sabrina, what you want to talk about? So he calls me, and he's like, guess what? And I said, what? He's like, well, there's a big rumor going around work. I said, oh, yeah, what's the rumor? He said, well, supposedly we're sleeping together. I said, you are kidding me. He said, no. He said, they basically, they took him, I guess, I don't know if they took him into the office, but they basically went in there and said, you're a manager, so obviously you can't be doing, this. Are you doing this? And obviously we're not, because he has a partner. Yes, single. But what the problem is that because we're both gay, they assume that we're sleeping together. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, I said, well, listen, I said, I'm not offended. And I'm not, you know me, I always say in life, better be talked about than overlooked. So if you want to talk about me, talk about me. But you better get the story fucking right. And excuse my French, but I'm sorry. If you're going to have my name coming out your mouth, you better be telling the truth.
Better be. Mm-hmm.
And so I just said to him, you know what? I will just add fuel to the fire. They better be careful because they don't know who they're messing with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hence goes, the problem here is that because, what do they call this? Guilt by association. We're two gay men. We have to be sleeping together.
I know. I hate that. Hence our topic today. Keeping those clothes in the damn closet, or whatever the case it might be. I saw on Facebook, I guess that's why I sent you that link regarding that, about people saying about the closet, how it never should have been established in the first place, and it shouldn't have. And then I saw a moment ago on Instagram, or maybe it was Facebook again, I apologize, this girl talking about her gay friends that she goes out with, and how some guys who are straight that are at the club would automatically assume that these gay men want them. And she did this whole cute little skit about, ain't nobody wants your 3 skid mark, low credit ass, is what she said about it. Gay men go after bodies, brains, and wallet. You know what I mean? They don't. So the point she was making is, don't think that because you're in a gay bar, everybody's going to want you. Gay men don't chase after straight men. You can all assume that and think that. But we are looking for gay men. Why would we look for a straight man? Why would we go for something we can't have or don't want? In that case, we don't. So, again, to make the assumption is wrong. I don't like that people do that. They still do that. I wish there would be a day that would come where they wouldn't, hence your situation. So, in all of it, so what happened at the end of this? What happened?
Well, this is, okay, so this just came out. I just found this out yesterday, but I guess this has been talked about for like a week or so. It's been going around the office. The bad thing is, and then this is the bad thing. Well, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. This is the funny thing. He had actually left his shirt in the locker room, and I saw it. So I being who I am as a nice person, because I am a nice person, I picked up his shirt and I put it in my locker because I thought, because it was a distinct shirt that had martinis on it. So it was interesting. I knew it was his because he had went out and, he basically was, they go and they follow you. So he was doing his little reviews, and I guess it really rained that day bad. So he basically, left it there so it dried, and I took it, I put it away. He ended up giving me he texted me, said, "Hey, will you do me a favor? Will you take my shirt and, put it away? I forgot it at work." And I said, I put it in my locker already. And he's like, "Oh, I appreciate that." I said, "No problem." So then I came in work the next day, which was yesterday, prior to me hearing about this gossip that was going around. I come out of the locker room and I said, "Oh, here, and don't leave your shirt in my house anymore." And like all these people were looking and they were laughing because it was a joke. And it was a joke. It was just being funny because at work you gotta have fun. You know what I'm saying. You gotta have fun.
Yeah, you knew what you were doing when you said it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fair joke.
It was a joke, but not realizing that they were already talking about us having a relationship, or not having a relationship, sleeping together because we were two gay men. And I'm the new, like this girl I was talking to, she said, "Well, you're the new person here. So back when I first started, I was doing my job and running around and going so quick, they thought I was on coke." She said that was the rumor going around. So it's like the idle gossip. But hence, because I'm a gay man and he's a gay man, oh, we must be sleeping together. So I just said to him, "Listen, I'm still going to be your friend, and I'm not going to change." And he vice versa said the same thing. He said, "Hey, if they want to talk, they're going to talk whether we like it or not, because people will talk. People will assume, like you said, and that girl."
Right.
So I said, "You know what? It's better to be talked about than overlooked." So,
do you have policies there that coworkers can't sleep with each other or be involved?
Well, managers can. I mean, I think that's with any job in the corporate America. A manager cannot be. If he's at another office, that's one thing. But we're in the same office, so you can't have a relationship with a fellow supervisor.
Right.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, but if I met the man of my life and he happened to be my manager, then I would just go work at another office.
Right. What could you do? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how that goes. What was I going to say?
Because now, okay, let's take it another way. Coworkers can still sleep together because they do all the time. You think about you watch Grey's Anatomy TV show, but at the hospital, I remember my friend Mark, BMC, he's in there all sleeping. It happens everywhere because you're at work. These people become like your family, and you see them every day.
Things happen.
Things happen.
Can happen. Yeah.
And when somebody finds out you're gay, this goes back to the closet thing. So, I was going to go into work, basically going into the new job, not saying that I was gay, but as you know, when I walk into a room, girl, they clutch the pearls, they know I'm gay. But I don't care because at 56 years old, I will not be put in a closet after 50.
You shouldn't have to be.
No. And it shouldn't matter that I'm gay to assume that because I'm gay and he's gay, we're sleeping together. That's what just gets underneath my skin is the assumption that people assume that gay men are either P&P drug addicts. We're sluts. We know that we're fashionistas. We design clothes. We do hair. We do nails. So, why don't you give us something we can talk about that's actually substance. Why do you think I go to that?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm very surprised that even happened. Honestly, you would think that was yesteryear. It's funny that even happened. That's bizarre. You know what I mean? But while we're on this topic of closets, because I made some points on the Facebook page to people, because the one thing about social media that people never understand is that if someone puts a post up, read it in its entirety. And if you don't understand it, read it again before you make a comment on it. Because a lot of people were commenting and going, "Oh, well, the reason why I came out of the closet was this and that." And I had to comment on their comments, saying to them, "You missed the point." They weren't talking about closets. They were saying that they shouldn't exist in the first place, is what they were saying. They weren't saying, because my situation is you don't need a closet to come out. You want to tell people you're gay, go ahead. That's on you. The point is you don't need to. What you need to do is just live your life, whatever that is. Dress your way, walk your way, talk your way, do your way. And if someone thinks you're gay, oh well, you know what I mean? Let them, but just like they said about how heterosexuals, and we continue to say this, do not need to say, "Hey, I'm heterosexual." No, Gays do not need to do that either. Nothing. People will not get it through their skulls that the only difference is who we choose in our personal life to be with. That is it. We put our pants on the same way. We have jobs just like you. We are construction workers and doctors and lawyers and therapists and musicians. We're everything. We're not from Mars. Maybe some of us are, but we're not from Mars. You know what I mean? We're people. You know?
I'm from Venus.
Yeah. Venus. I was like, I'm your Venus.
Venus the Milo. But
yeah, go ahead.
Go. So what I was going to say, and I know we're trying to learn not to talk over each other. That's
right.
Because we realized in the last podcast we have to, we get so excited and we want to talk. I remember Madonna, and school's in session. Hence, I know you got a banner there, right? So listen to this: "School's in session." A great song. It's basically she wants somebody to talk to her and teach her. What does she say? Please.
It's something I don't already know.
Right. So I think what happens with gay people and the people that are, sorry, I just hit that back there. People are trying to figure us out. And I think that if we have a label, and this goes, I remember Madonna talking about this. People, they want to know gay, straight, LGBTQ, these alphabets. And, it's odd that we have to have these, but I think people in general want to know what they're dealing with because, one, they don't want to offend. And I get it because, if you trans and, they're kind of, in that transition and you don't know if they're a guy or a girl, what do you like to be called? And I think that sometimes a label would help you. So I'm not saying I'm that person that says, if you're gay, stand out, be proud, because we need visual acknowledgement. We need people to see us, because if they think that we're like the small group, you always know that in life that, it's that small group, in high school or, in elementary school, it was the kids, the weirdos or the punk, they always got picked on. And then the cool kids who were on the soccer team, the football team, and the cheerleaders, they were the cool kids. So I think it comes from it comes from growing up that people want to be put into these categories so that we can understand, what they are, where they're coming from. And nowadays, so that we don't offend them, because everybody is offended by a simple gesture or simple. I say to somebody, and it's a term of endearment. I say, "Thank you, love," and that was something my mother told me, is to call you love, or honey. I say honey, and I say it a lot, and it's a term of endearment. But some people will get offended by that.
Yeah, it depends on who you say it to. I guess it could be, but that's. It can be. People do still get offended by that, but I think that's happening less, though. That sort of thing, not as much as. But to get back to that point you were saying, here's my point again about the closet. I know that people want to put labels, but that's the problem with this world. Just labeling people, all this putting someone somewhere in some category. Why can't we all just fit? Do you know what I'm saying? I get. It goes right back to, again, if you just be yourself, then someone can figure out who you are. But if you try to be someone you're not, well, then they can't figure out who you are. So if you're trans, and I'm not saying there's any way to be trans because I'm not a trans person, so I don't know how to be trans. But if you're a girl transitioning into a guy and you're being a guy, well, then you're being a guy. Or if you're a guy transitioning to a girl, you're being a girl, and you're being a girl. I don't know if that fits into what you were saying, because I can understand what you're talking about. It's the pronoun situation. And you know how that came out a while back when everybody was big on this pronouns. They're still using it today for Mr. Sam Smith. They can bring up his name. And I am not one who's fond of that term there. They are, or there. To me, that's extremely weird. I get it, because how could I not get these pronouns? I'm gay. How could I not? If there's one thing LGBT people are, is where we understand. How could we not? We understand. We have an understanding amongst each other about things. But I guess I get what you're saying about someone wanting to know, well, should I call you he or should I call you she? I guess it can get confusing. How to handle that, I don't know. I'll give you the one. I'll give that to you. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, and me and my friend were having a conversation even about it. It's funny you wanted to talk about this, but it was about, gay people or guys that are gay, but then go back to being straight, or vice versa, girls that are lesbians that go back to being, straight. Hence JoJo. I'm watching the dumbest it's that game show with Ice-T and JoJo and Electra. Well, it's a new game show. It's like the dumbest actor, or it's the dumbest something, but JoJo's on there. And I looked, and she actually was saying she had a boyfriend and I said, well, wait a minute, wasn't she a lesbian? So the story is that I think with gay guys is that, or I should say with guys, if you go and say you try to sleep with a guy and automatically you're gay, and I don't think you can go back. Once you do that, you're gay. You're gay. A girl has that option where if she wants to sleep with women, this year, and then next year she wants to go back to being straight, because bisexuality is, in the woman's world, is okay. This is just my opinion, but with gay, I think, and that's where it comes to being the closet, is people are scared to come out because we still get bashed for being gay men. You know that as well as I do it. I mean, look at Berlin. What happened in Berlin? I saw you post that. I had to go look.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still happening.
I got to be honest. I don't get bashed as a gay man. I'm fortunate, even in my workplace. I don't. I mean, but I have to be understandable to know that it does still happen to some people. Let's go to my friend, which you and I were talking about earlier. When I spoke to you about my friend and his whole battle. This anxiety he has. He can't drive over bridges. This all of a sudden just came into his life where he cannot drive over a bridge. He freaks out, stops the car, and we have to switch, and I have to drive over the bridge. He can't do it. So he decided to see a therapist to see what his problem was. And his therapist kept coming back and back and back again to, why is it you've not come out? Or what do you think would happen if you do? Do you think people don't know? And I said to him, what was I losing my thought? The same thing that I said to you a moment ago. It's people already know you are. Okay, people know he is. They say it to me. Oh my God, I knew your friend was gay when I saw him. I'm like, okay, I don't know how you knew that, but you knew that. So I said to him, I don't understand what you're worried about. He said that, I think that I'm worried that my mom and dad would treat me differently. I said, your mom already knows you're gay. I am almost 100%, 110% positive of that. Because she had said to him one day when they were driving in a car, he had mentioned about his life, and she said, well, what is it you're so stressed about? What is it that's bothering you? She goes, is it because you don't have a partner? Who uses that word partner? She just said girlfriend. Okay. She said partner because she was giving him the opportunity to say, or to say, no, it's not because I don't have a partner. She gave him. So I said to him, I said, what? I said, did you ever stop and think that? And this goes right back to what we're saying about the closet. Everybody having these talks about the closet, how there shouldn't be one in the first place. Will that ever be the case where there should never be a closet in the first place? I don't know. We talk less about it now than we did before. But the point still moves forward that you don't have to come out of anything. You simply have to be you. Be you, Don't worry about the rest of it. If someone wants to assume, like you said about your workplace, let them assume. What did we say about assumption?
When you assume, you make an ass out of what?
Yeah. Okay. Them and them. I mean, that's the thing. Take me in my workplace. I gave up worried about whether my coworkers knew I was or wasn't. I just be me. You know what I mean? The music I listen to, the things I do, the clothes I wear pink sometimes and whatever. My mannerisms, I don't change them. And I think at one point in time, this kind of, I won't say redneckish, but he's not really thuggish, but he's from that side of the tracks, white guy, who he didn't take too well to me, but in the end, he did. He would even make jokes and say, oh, this song must be for Peter, because some gay song would come out I would have thought was gay. You know what I mean? And I didn't care. I was happy for that, because that was his way of accepting and knowing I was who I was, and he was okay with that. You know what I mean? You have to take things a certain way. If someone says something to you, like he did with me, he might have joked, but that was his way of accepting it. I didn't take any offense to that. I laughed on and said, you know what I mean? But I was happy because this guy was okay with me being there. Didn't have a problem with me being his coworker. He accepted it. So will that be the case for everyone? I don't know. I still find it very hard to believe that people are this hard on the LGBT community still. Aren't there bigger and worse topics we can be going after, let's take our president for one. Aren't there things we could focus all this energy on than gay people? We are not the problem, you know?
Well, but it's funny you bring that up because I'm going to reiterate with you about the president. I think the fact that when he got rid of all this, because you remember Target and all that, they were all, what was that inclusion at work? What was the
I don't know that one law.
It'll come. But anyways, that he got rid of it. What did he get rid of?
God damn, I couldn't think of that.
I'm gonna have
something. I don't know if it was health,
because it was all the money and all that. You remember that was going for like Target, because that's why Target actually started to stop doing what they were doing with the Pride. You remember you would go in there for Pride Month and they would have all kinds of Pride clothes.
Right.
Well, they stopped doing that because he was going to say, okay, we're not going to fund you anymore. So I think it's almost, I mean, whatever somebody's going to correct me. You can tag me in this and tell me what but there was something where he got rid of it. And basically all these companies started to be like, oh, okay, well, the president's coming after us. So it's almost like and this is the problem with our president. He makes it seem okay to attack the underdog, the unique, the immigrants. I mean, look what happened to all the immigrants that were over. I mean, I know they were over here illegally, and I get it. There's a way that you have to come into this country, but these people were running from their country because they were not happy and they wanted to come to America, because America is what? America is diversity. I mean, we are all cultures. That's why people came to America in the first place, is to get away from the hypocrisy, get away from people. They were getting murdered because they were not, I mean, look at the Germans I mean, that's why people came here. The Jews, they came here because they could not live in their own country. And now we're at a point in our lives where the president is like making it okay to hate against diversity.
His mold, yeah. You know what
right.
I mean? Exactly. And that's, I continue to say, I know he has to finish his term out well, or not. It depends on all that happens. But we just have to be patient. You know what I mean? And let this. We can get angry about it all we want to, but anger is not going to solve the problem. Like you said, we need to band together. We need to stay strong, and we need to keep our faith and move forward as we always have. You know what I mean? Don't let this stop us. We've come too far, Stonewall and everything else that happened, to get where we are today. Do you know what I mean? No amount of nonsense that he can throw is going to change that. Within inside of you, with the people you know, with the love you have to share, it will come back. It will be okay again. Patience is a virtue. Time, it will be all right. We just have to hang in there, unfortunately. I'm
scared because it's almost like we're going backwards, and that's what worries me in our country, is that we're not going forward with this president. It seems like we're going backwards, and that's
I don't think that we're going backwards. I think it's that because it's such a topic right now, we don't have anything better to talk about, which is what the bad thing is. There's so many other things we can discuss, but instead we want to throw LGBT community in front of the face like that was a big matter. I don't understand why people think that's such a big crisis. I don't understand it, but I guess they have to have something to complain about. I don't know. So when he throws it out there, he takes it for its worth and thinks, well, there's a lot of people out there who are still against LGBT, so let me slam this. This might get me some points. So he put a belief out there, and people ran with that. But if you change that belief again, whether it's the next term, the next elections, whatever it is, then it will come back around. People follow. People are followers instead of leaders, unfortunately. I like to believe I'm a leader. I don't follow someone, especially if I don't believe in what they're saying. And that's what's the problem with America. We need to be able to stand on our own 2 feet. Don't follow the flock because you think the flock's going in the right direction, when apparently it's not. You know what I mean? We've got to understand that we have to believe in ourselves, stay steadfast and true to where we are. You know what I mean? Because if we don't, then they become right.
Right. And let you know, it was the DEI programs. I just looked it up. Google. Sorry. And it was Target. It was 15 companies that literally the far rights, they stopped the DEI programs. And so they all got worried. And Target stopped doing their Pride. Walmart even stopped doing Pride stuff. I mean, it's just something that it's sad, but when the government starts to control your thinking, your buying power, I mean, does he really have my concerns? I don't. I mean, my concerns, I think, are different than his, because first of all, I'm not a rich man sitting in a White House with, I'm not the one percenters. I'm a working, third class? I'm not third class, but what class would I be? I'm the middle class, right? Is that what we're called? We're the middle class. We're the middle class. I work, I pay my bills, and on my days off, I try to have, enjoy myself, build a sink, I mean, I do things that make me happy. But I have to know that my congressman, my mayor, my president has my concerns, and I don't think he has my concerns.
Of course he does.
His concerns are totally different than what mine are, because I don't have I don't have the luxuries that he has.
Not even 1/1,000,000th of it, whatever. Just not even close.
Look what you've been going through this whole week. While your week has been tough. I mean, come on.
Yeah, a lot of us suffer, and he doesn't realize that. And to put this on top of the suffering we already endure, it's just not right. I mean, we're already all going through things, and you want to add to it with thinking that our way of life is wrong. You know what I mean? We can go back to what people always say. How long ago has homosexuality been here? They're finding it now. Okay.
You can go back to the Greeks, because they used to have bathhouses and boys that used to wash their bodies.
Yeah, I mean, when are they going to stop talking about it? Let's put it this way. What'd you say? Hey, at least we're popular. Say, we're a hot topic. It's great to know, what I mean? But come on. Enough.
And it goes back to, the topic here about coming out of the closet. I just think that, and this is my opinion, people are becoming scared to come out of the closet because of where our country is going. I mean, that's all I can think of, is because being gay now is not a cool thing anymore, which, back, I remember when it was like all these, people were bisexual, they were coming out and, oh, it's cool to be gay. I have girlfriend. I mean, I'm not going to diss any of the girls, but the girls that had the gay friends, we used to call them something.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. So it was cool to have a gay friend. It was cool to have a gay friend. Now I don't think it's that anymore. I think
it still is. There's enough people out there who aren't going to change their mind because of some pompous president. You know what I'm saying? They're just not. And if you don't want to come out of the closet because it's going to affect your life, then that's understandable. You don't do something that's going to harm you. And I understand that. But be patient. The tide will change. And when it does, it'll be your time. But again, it goes right back to the whole topic about, I'll have to find it. Oh, I just sent it to you. The one about the closet. It goes right back to that. The closet shouldn't have been there in the first place. Let's close those goddamn doors and lock them. There's no need for a closet. You shouldn't have to come out of anything. You just should be you. You know what I mean? The closet was invented. It was I couldn't even tell you. We'd have to look back and see where the term came from. I mean, it came so long ago.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And someone put it out there, and then all of a sudden, here it is. It's gold. Why? That's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go back in. Hell, it's too late for that.
No, I mean,
I got too many clothes in mine. I'm not going back in there. Couldn't fit. But
ready for this? The term closeted evolved from older idioms regarding private spaces, blending with the phrase "skeletons in the closet," secrets. Gay being a secret.
Keep it in the closet.
Yeah. So it's basically the 14th century is where it freaking came from, with the private rooms for prayer, study, and seclusion. Over time, it became present in hidden private spaces of domestic concealment. Hence, when they used to have gay bars where they weren't gay bars. Remember, you had to have a code to get in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's go back. So if we're going back to the 14th century, I guess we were gay back in the 14th century.
But that term then, wasn't, well, yeah, it meant what it means today, but I don't think that it was actually invented then to hide. I think it was more of a society, really, if you think about it. Because how do you dive into time so long ago, BC and whatever? How do you dive into that and determine Do you know what I'm saying? In Rome and mythologies and all of that back then, those things I think were part of what's the word? Your hierarchy. You know, if you were a prince or whatever, you had this. You know what I'm saying? I think that I think it was more acceptable than we thought it was. It was commonplace. That's
Right.
what I'm.
So, Julius Caesar. I mean, come on, which is a fact. Julius Caesar had his boys.
Hmm?
He had his boys.
Yeah, it was commonplace. You know,
right?
It wasn't a big deal then. Why should it be a big deal now?
I guess we're just a big deal.
We've always been a big deal. That's the thing. Everybody wants to be us. That's what it is. Because if you think about it, think about this. You know, we go back to that again. Look at all these actors now playing gay roles. It's insane. Every time I see one, I'm going to close my browser going, oh my God, please. You want to scream about us, now you want to play us. I don't get it. You know?
Okay, well, it's funny you just bring it back. So I want an actress. I want you to. This was an old. I thought a friend of mine, John Hunter, and I shouldn't say his last name, but I know he would not mind because he's a house music junkie. I know him from back up in Connecticut. He actually posted this thing that Anne Hathaway had posted in 2018 when she won the human rights. She won an award for the human rights, and he just did a little what do you call that? It's just a reel, right? And it was maybe like five, it was like three. It was quick. I literally went back to the actual video and I literally posted it and I tagged a couple of people in it because she's talking about how the problem with the president and people. If you listen to this, when we post this, I'm going to put it underneath because she did this 11-minute speech about how the underprivileged, you know, and the gays. And she said, without the gays, I wouldn't be where I am without the gays. Because she recognizes that we who have been beat down, struggled, because we have, just like, you know, any other minority, because we are a minority still, and other minorities. And I think that's why we have that compassion with people who, you know, are different, because we were different. We know what it feels like to be put down, beaten up. I mean, I was chased down streets because I was gay when I was a kid. So I've been there and I know. And that's why I have this huge thing about, oh, I'm coming out because you know what? I'll say it before you can, because then why you have no ammunition.
Exactly. That again, that's my point about the closet. You don't need a closet to come out. You want to tell someone, just tell them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be what it's going to be. I mean, hide all you want to. Who are you harming when you hide? You know, let's go back to my friend again. You know what I mean? Because I think they said, or somewhere, let's face it, it's damaging. Look at all the relationships. Look at men who have children and wives, and all of a sudden they're destroyed years later because they can't take it no longer. You know, you're going to come out one way or another. You will.
Or, right, what you just said. Think about it. I mean, because I'm a firm believer. You're born gay. You know you're gay when you're going through your adolescence. You know, you looking at guys and you're not looking at girls. It's there.
How do you determine that?
Most men fight it, get married, have kids, and then cheat on their wife. You know, then their life's a mess, and then they finally come out in their 40s. Well, it's society that made them think, oh, you have to, you know, get married, have the kids, get the white picket fence, blah, 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 blah. That's life. No, that is not life. Life is not a guarantee. You don't get a return policy on this. And when it's done, it's done. So you better live your life to your fullest, your dreams, your passions, and have compassion for other people. Because when you're a nasty, negative person and you throw that energy at someone else, just remember, it's going to come right back at you.
Right. And to that point you were saying, that's a good point about that, about what you said about you only have one life, live it. Again, we'll go back to my friend. You know, all this stuff that's going on with this, I can almost guarantee it's because he just won't be who he is. He won't be himself. He won't allow himself to be who he is. He's just, and I don't care. I'll never push him to do whatever he wants to do. Not that I've given up. I realize it's not my place to tell him he needs to come out. It's not my place to tell him he needs to, you know. I simply say you have to live your life, and until you do, you're going to be who you are, what you're going through right now. You're going to continue to have stress. You're going to continue to have aggravation because you believe what you believe, and you shouldn't believe that. But if you want to believe that, that's fine. I understand it. But, you know, he said, well, I don't have the courage you have. Well, it's got nothing to do with courage. It has to do with
courage. It is courage, Peter. It is courage. Or
I wasn't scared to tell my parents at all. You know what I mean? He was like, well, were you afraid to tell I'm like, no, I wasn't afraid to tell them. I just told them. What are they going to do? They'll like me or don't like me. I don't, I can't live like this. I need to live. Why do you think there was suicide and things like that amongst the gay community so long ago? Right? People just took their lives or whatever because they couldn't be accepted, they couldn't figure it out. You know what I mean? It isn't worth it. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, there are still, and this is why I think that the closet's not a good thing for us. There are still families or parents that believe that gay is bad, gay is evil, and there are still kids that are struggling to come out, and that's why I think that I need to be a beacon, because if they don't see me, because I always think when I was a kid, who did I think? I thought I was the only gay person. Yeah, because but I didn't see, like, I was trying to think in my life. I mean, who did I know that was gay? I mean, like, even like if you think about it, George Michael wasn't gay when he first came out. Elton John wasn't gay. And these were actors or musicians, and I'm thinking actors. I was trying to think of gay people that I could look to and think, oh my God, okay, it's okay to be gay. And it wasn't until Madonna came along and made us say, you know what? It's you. You're beautiful, no matter what you are. She, and I think that's why she is who she is. And people, that's why she's still relevant today. I mean, school is in session.
School.
School is where it all, I mean, if you think about it, school is where it starts, because I always say, I say this in life, you're not born to be racist. You're not born to be mean. You learn it. Someone teaches you to be a bigot. Someone teaches you to be, to hate blacks, hate Asians, hate, it is taught to be you don't just learn it, because when you're a kid, you're a happy kid and you want to play with other kids. Think about that. At the playground, you play with other kids. You didn't own color. You didn't know whether he was gay or straight. You just wanted to play kickball. You wanted to play foursquare. You wanted to have fun with your friends. But where did you learn that, oh, that person's gay, you can't hang with them. That person's black, we can't be seen with them. You're taught it by where? Society.
Of course.
Your parents. Mm-hmm. Your parents do teach you things.
That's why you see a lot of that on social media now, about parents talking about their kids, and a lot of stars too, allowing their kids to dress however they want to dress and things like that. And at first I thought that wasn't that. I understand. I don't understand. I'm not a parent. I wish I was. But I guess when it comes right back down to it, doesn't really matter. The situation is, like you said, like Lady Gaga said it best, you're born this way. Okay? So it doesn't matter what you do or don't do to your child. If they're gay, they're gay. Okay? You aren't going to change that. It was established when they were in that womb, floating around before they came out. It was already there. You know what I'm saying? The pink triangle was already on their belly button. It was done. People don't understand it's done.
You can't pray that gay away. Don't worry. And you can't, the conversion therapy didn't work.
And you can't ignore it. You can try, but what's it going to cause you? Anxiety, pain, heartache. You know what I mean? Not be able to find one you love, not be able to. Let's take my relationship, for instance, shall we? As we all know, I'm dating a Canadian man. You know what I mean? Who is married. Okay, people, boo me if you choose. But very unsatisfied. Again, this guy's much older. He's my age, you know what I mean? But in a situation that he can't really get out of, but at the same time, he wants to be able to live his life. Should I be, I can't be involved with you because of that? I didn't ruin something that wasn't already ruined. I didn't. If anything I'm doing is adding to someone's happiness. You know what I mean? I understand you're in a situation. I'm not, let me first say, I'm not condoning this. I'm not saying everybody should go and do this. It's different for everyone. You know what I mean? It's different for everyone. But the point being, like we said, well, like you were saying, people end up cheating. Well, scratch all that. Let me edit that one out. But no, it is, happiness is happiness. However you need to find it, then you find it. You know what I mean? Who is anyone to take away someone's emotions or someone's feelings or the way they feel about someone? You can't. And so should you miss out on it because someone's got something to give? No, you shouldn't. Take life for what it is go with it, move forward, be the best person you can be, be you. Whether you come out of that closet or not, what you owe yourself is honesty, right?
And interesting that you would bring up your topic of your situation you're in, because you know that I have said to you, what makes you think that his wife don't know? And I've said that many times, because Canadians, and I'm a chalk one up for, because I'm a Canadian. We are not stupid people, okay?
And trying to bite me in the butt. And I just
I know, right? Well, the thing about this is that I'm saying and I've said this to you, why don't he just let her know, because obviously if they're not doing whatever they're doing in their relationship, and he's checked out, and what makes him think that she don't know? Hence, mothers know when their sons are gay. Women have this intuition, and we know this.
I mean, she could, and she may, you know what I mean? God, now it's like I'm trapped in this one. I should never open my mouth in this, but it's a good point to make, though. I mean, I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care what people think about me. Do not get that wrong. This is a PNP podcast. We're here to talk about many different things. I'm just showing that I'm human like anyone else. You know what I mean? I'm involved in a difficult situation. What had happened was when we met, right? I didn't know this, okay? So it went from one, and it kept going, till it got momentum, gathering wars, went down the hill, and then now here we are. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's too much affection. There's too much. I can't walk away. Should I? I don't know. I thought about it many times that maybe I should, but I haven't. Not yet.
You'll figure it out. You always do. I mean, the thing is that I don't want you to get hurt in the process, because what's going to happen is what you need to realize, and I am not judging him, and I'm not judging you, but if he is being secretive about you, will he then do this to you? What he's doing to his wife, will he then do it to you? Because in life, go ahead. You know where I'm getting.
Yeah, but I'm not sure, because like you said, I'm my age for a reason. It comes with wisdom. I know what I'm involved in. Yeah, I know what I'm involved in, and I'm taking it for what it is. It's face value.
Right.
Will he do that? We're not that involved for me to care if he did. You see what I'm saying? I'm just enjoying the love that we share, the camaraderie, the friendship. It's a 6 months thing, on off for 6 months. It is what it is. Will I be okay if it ends? Well, I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when I can, but I'm not concerned with those things. Should I be? I mean, because we have the conversation where we're totally open to whatever. He always says to me, well, you can, I'm like, well, yeah, I know I can, but I don't, because I'm involved. But I guess the whole point I'm making, why I brought this all up, is we were talking about, the closet and all of that, and the things that people go through. And I'm just showing the human side of it, that it can happen to anyone. You can be involved with someone who's trapped in a spot that they don't know what to do about. Because our world today has done this to us, has put us in this bind that we can't get out of. You know what I mean? That's labeled us, whatever they labeled us. And now we can't walk our lives without worried about something bad happening.
But doesn't that come to, and I just think this, why doesn't he have the strength to tell her how he feels? I mean, I think that's the hand that rocked the cradle. Why doesn't he communicate with her? Because if you're in a relationship and you can't communicate with me, then we shouldn't be in a relationship. And I'm not talking about you and him. I'm talking about them two. I'm not talking about you.
Here's the thing. There's always more to the story. You know what I'm saying? His relationship is delicate, because she's an only child, and she has threatened that if you leave me, that's what I'm going to do to myself. Yes, she's trapping him with all these sort of bad things. Will she actually do that? I don't know. I don't know the relationship. I don't get into it. I don't discuss it, because it's not where I'm at. We met. It happened. I like, or I love. I'm not even sure I love. I guess
that word's a very strong word, so be careful, because that's a strong word.
We've already said it. It's too late for that. You know what I mean? And I do. But there's different ways of loving. There's in love and there's love. Just got.
So are you in love? Or are you loving? Or you?
I don't know that I'm in love quite yet. I do know that I care for him. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm in love. Because there's if you're in love. Sometimes I think I am. I get that. Woo! too. You know what I mean? And other times I'm like, because here's the thing. Will we ever be an item? I don't see it. So why would I commit too much to something? You know, I already know that if someone walked into my life that was free to be whoever they wanted to be, like Duran Duran said, free to love, then I would probably be gone, you know? I mean, he's not the only person in my life. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I've got a couple irons in the fire, you know what I'm saying? But I am a single man, you know? One just texted me a moment ago saying, hey, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get you in a moment.
Okay, well, I mean, as long as you're a grown man and you're an adult, and you know, if it doesn't work out, it won't work out. I mean,
but again, I only brought that up because again, we were talking about causes and situations that happen, and things.
Which is what he is. Does she even know he's gay?
No, probably not. He didn't find out until he didn't really realize it until 2019. You know what I mean? When he did something with someone, and all of a sudden now there's this thing just happened. So you know, it's again, this was a. Should I have brought it up? Well, you know, it doesn't matter that I did. I'm just proving a point that it's real. It happens. It's out there. Complications made by society against the LGBT community where they cannot be who they want to be without worrying about some sort of fallout. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's the situation. So am I to blame for this? No, I'm keeping someone happy in a difficult situation for them. You know, and I think that anybody would, if they were in that situation but wanted to be somewhat free, would be happy to have that, even if it's but for a moment. You know what I mean? To think they're living their lives like they want to live it, even though it's far out of reach. You know? And again, we'll cut this short. It goes right back to what we're saying about the closet and all that. If it wasn't there, if we were free to be you and me since day one, then nobody would be having these issues. But because we are not,
right. Well, what I would say to people that are, if you're watching this and you are young and you don't know, or you're older and you don't know, you're not the only one. And being gay is not a bad thing. Being a lesbian or, you know, bisexual or trans, whatever you are, be who you want to be, because we are, you know, you have one life. You only have one life, and why make yourself suffer, and why make other people not really know who you are? It's okay. And I guess that's how I would end this, is that it is okay to be different. I look for diversity in life. I want to see unique. I want to see new. I want to see interesting. I don't want a boring, you know, cookie cutter, same. You know, I'm not. I've had many relationships in my life, and they were interesting. Some didn't. Some worked out. Some didn't work out. But I learned, and I think that if you just go through the learning curve, but know that you're not alone.
Right. Exactly. Know that you're not alone. That's what it comes down to. I mean, if there's anything we want to say in about this is right back to the topic about closets. You know what I mean? They are for clothes, really.
No.
And you know what I mean? And whether you want to come out of it, don't want to come out of it, that's a choice you make. But think wisely. You know, don't harm yourself.
Right.
You know, speak to other people. Reach out to the community. I mean, we're always here. Drop us a line. Talk to us about it. And we can add our 2 cents. What it's worth.
And we can actually, as a community, we can help you. And I know where you know, if I know where you're in a small town, I would say, you know, you might want to relocate. I mean, honestly, if you're in a place where they don't accept you, then move. Because you know what? In life, you can always just move, because it's just like Julia Roberts said in Pretty Woman, it's just geography, honey. Move.
You're not a tree. You can move.
Right. Exactly. Right. You're right. Exactly. I mean, you can make roots in a place that you want to call home, but make sure that everybody loves you. And if they don't love you, you know, piss on them. I didn't really mean that.
There you go. Piss on them. They don't love you. You heard it from the words of Paul. You've got his permission. Please don't do that, though.
Hey, some people are into water sports, so don't even go there, okay? But that's a whole other topic.
So that was it. Okay.
That's good.
You know what? I'm glad we talked about this, and I hope it resonates with many out there. School is now done for the day.
Time for recess. Let's go play.
Time for recess. Let's go play. I'm Peter,
I'm Paul.
and this was
The PhD podcast.
Polly, till next time, my friend.
All right, Peter. Love you. All of you.
Really.
All of you.
Yes, all LGBTQ and beyond. Love and air grease.